Hey everybody, Jessica Coulter here, CEO and founder of Ace Cookie Tutoring. Today we're talking about using what you already know to help you learn something new. So if you're watching this, glad to have you, no matter if you're on Facebook or YouTube. I want to know what you have used before to help you learn something new, so let me know down below. And before we jump into these 3 ideas I have for you over the next few minutes, want to encourage you to become a subscriber on YouTube and a follower on Facebook if you're not already, because I go live almost every single day, at least 5 times a week. So I'd love to have you catch these lives so I can answer your questions and kind of get a chance to interact with you, because unfortunately if you watch the replays, I don't get to learn about you and help you in real time. So guys, here we go. Using what you already know to help you learn something new. So today in my group, we discussed the volume of a cylinder formula and some example problems. So in order to do that, we had to know what the formula was for the area of a circle. And once we knew that, pi r squared, then we're able to figure out the volume of a cylinder, because all we have to do is multiply that formula for area of a circle by the height of the cylinder, and then we have the volume of a cylinder. So that's just one example of using what we already knew, the area of a circle, in order to find something new, the volume of a cylinder. So guys, I have all sorts of tips on learning new material in my Facebook group. So if you're not part of that group, I highly encourage you to click that link you see on the screen over in the description or somewhere actually on the video. So I'd love to have you in the group so I can give you some actual tips and tricks with learning new material easily. Now, this video is all about how to use what you already know. So we talked about using a formula that we learned, probably one that you're going to learn before volume, because area is generally first, area and perimeter, and then you move on to volume. So that's one example. Use a formula to help you with a different formula. And then when we stick to math, another idea here is 1- and 2-step equations. Okay, so we learn 1-step equations first because they're simpler, and then by the time we get to 2-step equations, we already know kind of what to do. The only difference is there's an extra step, so we have to add or subtract instead of just going straight into multiplying or dividing. Okay, and the cool thing is that idea of 1-step equations and 2-step equations, it is going to hang around as soon as you get it down. Like you learn that usually 6th, 7th grade, maybe sometime later in middle school, depending on your level or your child's level. And then that concept of adding, subtracting, and remembering which operations the opposite of which is something you're going to use for the rest of your math career, and even in your science classes that are full of math, like physics and chemistry. So there is a whole bunch of ways to use something you've already learned and put it towards something else, because everything is going to be broken down into little steps, and they just kind of snowball into more complicated things, ideas, formulas. Okay, so we've given some math ideas, some science ideas, so I have an English idea here for you. But before we do that, I just want to check in. Remember guys, I want to know in the comments down below, what is something you've learned to help you learn something more difficult? Okay, so feel free to let me know. And also remember to hit that like or heart button for me to let me know you're there watching, enjoying the video, and getting something out of it. That's the important thing. So the last idea I want to give you here, guys, is about English. So think about it. We all learn how to write sentences. In order to write sentences, we have to learn what subjects and verbs and all those different parts of speech are. See, there's 8 parts of speech, so nouns, verbs, all that good stuff. And then we have to actually learn how to write. So it just kind of keeps going and going. And once I get to the point where I can write a sentence, well, then I can write a paragraph. And then that paragraph, once I learn how to do that, well, then that takes us into essays. And you'll learn as you get older that there's all sorts of different types of writing. We've got our expository, we've got our argumentative, our persuasive, all of those different types. So that is just a whole nother example of how to use something you've already learned to learn something new. You're going to keep that knowledge forever, and then you just keep expanding on it. That's all that happens. Is it gets more complicated, it gets more kind of thorough in a way, because you're getting more involved with it. But you never forget those little baby steps, those little kind of building blocks that help you further along as you get older, as you get into harder classes. So guys, I thank you so much for being here. I do want you in my Facebook group, because remember, I do provide homework help in that group, just like I did today. And I also have all sorts of study tips that you can use to make it easier to learn difficult material, things that you might not have seen yet or really haven't understood. So click that link that you see on the video over in the description so you can join my group after you answer a couple of questions, and so you can get those study tips you need to make difficult homework problems or projects easier. Thanks so much. See you soon.